Welcome to the Mild Opinion Podcast. I'm Luke.
I'm Logan.
And today we're going to be looking at some of the upcoming movies and biggest releases in the upcoming year of 2026. 2025 was a good year for movies in terms of like some big releases and some original, I feel like, ideas. And 2026 is also coming up and has a lot of big time movies that are coming out. Yeah, do you have any movie in particular that you'd like to start off with that you're looking forward to in 2026?
I think I am probably looking forward to this one a little bit more than you are, just because we've talked about before, you don't really care about these movies. But I am looking forward to Scream 7 quite a bit.
Yeah. This is mainly just because I haven't seen all of them, and I appreciate the novelty of the first ones the most, and I get it's like a thing of like, oh, keep it going. But yeah, I think, didn't they release the trailer for it? So how do you think Scream 7 looks?
I think it looks pretty good. From what everyone's been saying and from the different teasers and stuff like that, everybody's assuming that Stu will be back in some fashion, which...
Is that Matthew Lillard?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I'm like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't want it to get too legacy movie-fied, because that kind of seems like Scream's going that way anyway. Like with the last one, it kind of seemed like that, which, I mean, whatever. If it's entertaining, it's entertaining. That's why it makes money, so...
Yeah, I feel like, as like, I've talked with you and you've told me about like we've talked about kind of like how, since that's the shtick of Scream, it could work, since it's like, oh, who's the killer, who's it gonna be, like, and the idea of Scream, which is, oh, the killer is killing people because of this movie or whatnot. So they could be poking fun in Scream 7 at like maybe the like Slash or whatever it's called, the franchise that they're following in that, is like bringing back its cast or something, and then it's like, oh, here's Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if they do it right, and I'm saying this as not even the biggest fan of Scream and stuff, I could see that being a worthwhile fan base payoff.
Yeah.
In a good way, not in like a stupid way.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, honestly, when I've been, seeing all the stuff about it and all that, like, I was pretty excited for it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm always down for another Scream movie. I mean, until they beat the horse to death, I'm going to keep watching, so...
Yep. Probably as long as Courtney Cox is around.
Yeah.
We'll keep making... yeah. Okay. Well, I'll jump over to... This is one that isn't necessarily... It's not like a franchise-based one. I'm kind of, like, curious about it, and I know it's been getting a lot of attention, which is Project Hail Mary. And this is based off of a book. I haven't read the book, but it's the upcoming Ryan Gosling movie where he... I don't want to, like, fumble trying to explain what the plot is, because I don't know if I remember all the way. I just think it looks like a very, visually pleasing space movie. Is where he's in space and makes contact with an alien. They're trying to solve some problem together. And the reason this movie has kind of intrigued me is I believe that it's the same director who did the movie The Martian with Matt Damon. And I was a big fan of that movie, and I think it holds up today, with it kind of feeling both like a little bit of a jump for, modern day technology, but in like the most grounded way. So I'm hoping it kind of has that, with also expanding that sort of scientific fiction kind of deal with it. And apart from that, I feel like there just hasn't been a really good looking space movie in a little bit. So I think I'm excited for this movie because of that.
I mean, we've talked about it a little bit too, that like visually pleasing space movies, like if you can nail a space movie, that's like, I mean, kind of top tier genre of movie.
So the ones that you think of with that, obviously you have like Interstellar and like Gravity and stuff like that. Those are really good looking space movies. So hopefully, this movie, with what it appears to be about and the clips they show in the trailers and stuff, it looks like it'll be kind of that same level of like serious mixed with like fun, charming kind of stuff. And so yeah, I'm kind of excited for that one. Hopefully it doesn't just turn out to be a bunch of media hype, but
generic. Yeah. From what I know about it, I mean, I'm pretty excited for it as well. Like, I'm hoping that it's everything I want it to be. But from what I know about the story and stuff, I'm pretty sure it starts off like he wakes up on this ship and he doesn't know who he is or how he got there, and then he's trying to figure it out from there.
Okay.
And that's where it takes off from.
Okay.
I'm not really sure much else about it, but yeah, I'm hoping that as good as I think it'll look visually, I'm also hoping the story is on par with how well it is made.
Yeah. And, Ryan Gosling, he's a fun enough guy to be like a front man in something like that. So I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, do you have another one you want to jump to here?
We can get to one that just recently had a trailer.
Yeah.
We have some very mixed opinions on.
Yeah.
Supergirl. I don't know. I know, if anybody's seen anything about it, pretty much the entire internet's just being like, oh, well, this is just, James Gunn making another Guardians movie except with the DC properties.
Yeah. It does. It's just the look of it. Honestly, from the trailer we just got, like, the spaceships kind of look like, oh, it's Guardians of the Galaxy, and the aliens we see in it are kind of like, I'd expect somebody like this to show up in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And the locations we're seeing Supergirl in. I think it's not so much of a surprise to me, though, because, we've known for a little bit that it's going to be more of kind of her getting out of Earth and into deeper space and stuff, which is cool. It'll be an opportunity to learn a lot more about where they're going with this DC world. My main concern with it is that it's going to be too much of trying to explore that all at once, in absence of trying to give Supergirl a good story,
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope they just keep. You've said it before in a previous episode. I hope they make it unique enough to Supergirl that it's keeping the ball rolling and not playing it too safe.
Yeah. And I think part of the problem that I have, and this is just based off the trailer and stuff, I mean, my opinion is, more than likely going to change after I actually see the movie and whatnot, but I'm kind of disappointed a little bit just from, like, the fact that it looks like it's pretty much just Guardians of the Galaxy, but the main character is, Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, Superman was done, like, so differently, like, the whole super comic booky in the comic world and all that. Like, that was, like, a different thing, you know what I mean? Because, like, Marvel isn't, like, as comic booky as Marvel is.
Yeah.
It's not really like that. Like, it's more grounded, like, Earth-based and stuff like that. And then, like, Superman was just so different. Like, it was so much like a thing of its own. Like, it kind of felt like a completely different thing.
Mm.
And then we have this trailer come out, and it's like, oh, well, we've fallen back into the rut a little bit. It feels like, you know what I mean? Like,
and, it is just the first trailer. So I'm sure at some point we'll get, it is kind of just a lot of flash action shots, so we don't even know what exactly is going on. It looks like we're going to learn more about, like, Krypton's history and stuff like that. So I'm sure it'll tie back to Superman. I just hope, my main hope for it is that they make enough of an effort to make this Supergirl, like, likable on her own and not rely too heavily on, like, the Superman we have and, like, the dog from Superman, and then that Lobo is going to be in it. I want it to feel unique to Supergirl and not just, oh, it's the new DC and she just happens to be the main character in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think and I was trying to give it a little bit of grace, like, reading all the comments of, everybody online be like, oh, it's just like Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. I was like, well, I mean, it's still James Gunn, and also it's DC, what I mean? It's in space, it's DC, it's I mean, it's gonna run the same lines. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's only so much you can do to make it different. And then what really sold me was the still shot of both Supergirl and Star-Lord right next to each other, and they're both wearing the old school cheap headphones, and I was like, ah,
There it is.
oh man.
It reminds me of a meme I saw where it's like, in a James Gunn produced or directed movie, anytime there's characters who need to bond, they bond over old or like 90s rock and roll music. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. I just hope, yeah, my main hope for it, I don't mind if it's like fun, kind of James Gunny style. I don't know if he's the primary director on this one. I think it might be someone else. I just hope they give her version of Supergirl like a proper introduction, you know. Yeah, I'll jump over to the Marvel side of things here because there's two massive releases from Marvel this next year, and it's nice because it's the only two of them, so it'll make them feel, or movie wise, it'll make them feel all the more worth the wait. We have I'll start with Spider-Man Brand New Day, which comes in July, I believe. And it's kind of falling into the same thing as No Way Home, where it feels like every other week you hear something new about it. But it is Spider-Man, and it's been a while since there's been a Spider-Man movie, so I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we don't have to really go super in depth on this because I feel like we've talked about this.
We have talked about it a lot, yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for it. This new stuff that I keep hearing and like the set photos and stuff that I keep seeing, I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to ruin it for myself. Like I'm trying not to go deep into all the different stuff that I see online. But from what I've seen so far, I'm like, man, I'm kind of excited. This looks like it might be pretty good.
I think what most excites me about this being kind of like, it's the same Spider-Man we've had. It's Tom Holland, but it's gonna kind of seem like a reintroduction to him and like a what's been happening with him. Is specifically, I think it's I'll probably say the wrong job title for it, but it's like their choreographer, or like combat choreographer or whatever, is the same guy who headed the combat choreography in Shang-Chi. And that with a Spider-Man movie, if they don't like rush it and really put some excellent like combat scenes in there, who doesn't love a really good Spider-Man fight scene?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm very excited for that. And honestly, my main anticipation with this movie right now, and like my biggest question about it, probably like everybody, is like, yeah, we'll have the Hulk, we'll have whatever's going on with Sadie Sink. Who's the bad guy?
Yeah.
Or the bad guys? Because, it's like we've said, every week the rumors evolve into something else about what's going on. So I think once we get to the bottom of who's going to be behind whatever chaotic thing's going on, it'll kind of give you an idea of what you might expect or be wanting to see from that character,
Yeah, and I mean, I've kind of been thinking that as well. It's just, I want to know who's behind all of it, because I feel like there's going to be, I feel like it's kind of a given at this point, just based off who's in the movie, that we will see Spider-Man versus either Punisher or Hulk, or maybe both.
Yeah.
But I want to, I'm curious to see who's behind. There's going to be a reason why they'd be fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see who, because, I'm hoping it's somebody that we've never seen on screen before, Spider-Man villain-wise.
Yeah.
Somebody, really cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing I was saying with Supergirl. I hope that they, with so much that we know is already going into it, I hope that they still make the focus on giving you, like, a good Spider-Man story, which, across the board, I feel like most Spider-Man movies have aged pretty well. So I hope that they just don't give us one that's like, oh, that one's always going to be that one that's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that honestly I'm probably more excited about than Doomsday right now. But that is the next one I was going to throw us over to stay on Marvel here, because at the time of us filming this, there's been rumors of a trailer coming soon for Doomsday, which I think is coming at the very end of the year. And it'll be, I feel like, the ultimate culmination of, like, is Marvel gonna land the next massive everything all at once kind of movie, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, apart from what we've already described or talked about in the podcast before, what do you think about Doomsday coming?
I am excited because I like the new teams that they are, foreshadowing. I am very nervous because all of the stuff that I've been hearing, I'm like, dude, if this isn't done right, this could be absolute slop.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, I'm also just very excited to see a good on-screen MCU Doctor Doom. And I'm hoping that they write his character well enough that he, I want another bad guy that, carries this. Because obviously, the heroes carry it. Like, we have a good culmination of heroes right now.
Yeah.
But I want Doctor Doom to be written so well that he, carries this movie.
Yeah. And something with this movie that I hope and that I feel like there's been speculation, rumors about, is that it might not necessarily be like that Doom is a good guy or has, a justifiable purpose, but I think it would be a very good course to go, kind of. It's kind of in the same way Infinity War was, where it's like Thanos is the main driving force of everything going on. Like, whatever move he makes is what causes things to, react to that. So, in a way, I kind of hope Doom is, the main character, where it's we'll have plenty of time with all of these other teams, but I feel like if any of these one teams are the primary focus, that the other ones will get kind of swept away or, put to the side. So if you have Doom as the main guy interacting or, coming up to these teams and stuff, I feel like that would just be a very natural way of saying what they want to say with Doom and giving him the full big bad introduction treatment. And this movie needs to accomplish a lot with what we know is coming. So I just hope they give us good Doom. They make honestly that they make the characters that are around and the teams around right now have a little more I don't want to say emotional stake, but I guess I do at the same time, because a lot of them are still relatively new. I just hope there's a lot to hope for in this movie, and I think once we get a trailer, we'll have a better idea of what it's looking like.
Yeah, I agree. And I think my biggest concern is probably just, I've seen a lot of stuff about, legacy characters from the X-Men and stuff like that. I've also seen stuff about Chris Evans, Captain Hydra, and random stuff like that. And I'm I wouldn't hate to see, stuff like that. I think it might be kind of neat to have evil multiversal entities and stuff like that to be with Doom. That'd be kind of cool. But I don't want it to just be super messy to where it's where did that even come from? You know what I mean? If they can do it in a way to where it looks good and it makes sense, then that's what I want. But I don't need it to be over the top. If it's gonna be super over the top, I would rather not even have them in it. Make it more normal, make it more grounded.
Yeah, I would also say, this is the last thing I'll say about this movie, but I hope when we do get this trailer that it's not too revealing of big reveals and stuff that we'll expect, because I don't want to know almost a year in advance if it's gonna be Iron Man's gonna be back in it or we're gonna be up against Chris Evans as Captain Hydra. I kind of just want to see Doom, and I want to see who we know is gonna be in it, and then maybe as we get closer, then drop a trailer, but don't show everybody that's gonna be in it all at once, because
I agree.
that will absolutely make it so much better when this movie finally comes, if you're going and it's like, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
they actually had all these people in there,
Yeah,
you know?
and I think too, like Marvel and like this movie being as big as it's gonna be, like they don't need to advertise it like that. Like the driving force itself will be, oh yeah, like we're gonna go watch this crazy Marvel movie. It doesn't need to be more than that.
Yeah, and if they have a good story with it, like we hope they do, they don't. Yeah, you're right. They don't need the fan service characters in the trailer. They just need to show you a little Doom, and give you like a little bit of an idea of how, or like, I don't even care if they show what he wants or anything. Just like give us an idea of what this is gonna feel like.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have another 2026 movie you want to jump over to?
I think one that needs to be covered in this is the Odyssey, and we've talked about this a little bit before too. I don't know what happened, and I mean we've talked about this before too. I don't know what happened. The public opinion of the Odyssey is starting to shift. I've seen it online. It's starting to change.
Yep. I don't know. Because, I love Christopher Nolan. But I feel like I'm starting to see people be like, oh, it's going to be this and this and that. And because, like, Tom Holland and Zendaya are in it. It's like, and what if they're in it and do a great job,
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, hands down, it's going to look amazing no matter what. You can't have Christopher Nolan, who's known for all these like practical effects and these incredible shots and stuff, and then expect it to look bad with something that has to be visually incredible.
Yeah.
And like Tom Holland and Zendaya, it's like, yeah, they're the classic, they're like the A-lister go-to 20, 30-year-olds right now, but they're not bad actors.
Yeah.
And if this is the right opportunity for them to show some like real chops and stuff, then I don't mind seeing them in this. And honestly, in the cast he's got, I don't see anybody that's like, oh, that's a bad choice for it,
I agree. I have seen one thing floating around on the internet that kind of spooks me a little bit, just because I'm like, why would they do that? But I don't know if it's even true. It's just like the word on the street is that a lot of people are upset because they're like, oh yeah, like I heard this movie isn't even gonna have like the folklore or anything in it, like the monsters and stuff like that. Like it's gonna be like a grounded, like real world interpretation of Odyssey. And I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
That kind of spooks me too, because I'm like, why would you make a movie about a story with incredible creatures and this, that, and the other, like folklore stuff, but then not have any of that? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'll be honest, like I don't know if there'll be like a huge point in the movie. I honestly still believe they will, like the gods and monsters and stuff. I honestly don't really believe any rumors I'm hearing about the Christopher Nolan movie, because it's a very specific reason. Because he's my favorite director. I'm a big nerd for Christopher Nolan movies. Before this movie was announced to be his next movie, there were so many fake rumors from official sources about what his movie was going to be. So there was stuff where people were like, oh, it's going to be about vampire hunters in the 1800s. And it's like, no, it's going to be a helicopter action time travel movie. It's not either of those. And there was official and incredible sources saying all this stuff. And then it's just completely wrong. So that thing of, oh, it's not going to be this and this and that can mean 1,000 different things, and it might not even be true to begin with. Somebody could have just said something that was taken out of context. So I still have a lot of faith in this movie. At the very least, I know it'll look great.
I was going to say, it will be visually stunning. And, if you're into Christopher Nolan like that, then it'll be well worth it.
Yeah, and, we've talked about it already on here, but for it being the Odyssey, that is a huge step away from like concepts and stuff he's usually doing. So I don't see any reason for him for how fantastical or sci-fi based stuff he's brought on before that he would just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna deal with any of the gods and monsters and stuff. It's like, I just don't buy that.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong. I could be proven wrong, but it'll be a very good looking movie regardless. So
Yeah.
I'm still very excited for that. And yeah, I've gotten the perception that you do too. But you know, it's going to be a huge movie, so you're going to have that on all corners with any huge movie right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm still excited for it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
And you kind of do make a good point. Like, even in, like, his, like, more, like, grounded, like, science-based kind of movies like that, like, he dives into a little bit more, like, spiritual or, like, you know, different stuff, like, from time to time, or, like, more fantastical things, like, you know,
I feel
random
like
concept like time travel or this, that, the other. It's like, why in something that is like about that would he be like, yeah, I'm not really into
and
that.
I feel like the biggest perception of that comes from like the Batman movies, because that was definitely very much like, let's ground him, like let's make Batman realistic. So I could see there being elements of it that they make more realistic, but I honestly doubt that he's going to dull that down all that much, you know.
Yeah.
I have one more movie I will touch on, which is kind of back to like the big franchises, which I don't know what to think about this movie. It's The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is the next Star Wars big screen movie since Episode 9. And I honestly would have preferred this to be The Mandalorian Season 4 than a movie, because I feel like they're just going to make it all, oh, it's a big Star Wars movie that's all for everybody. And after The Mandalorian Season 3, I feel like it's going to have completely lost its charm of it being the Mandalorian who's supposed to be, you know, yes, like a redemptive character and kind of like the hero's journey character, but also he was a pretty cold and mercenary type character, and Grogu was just like this thing that he had to learn, like a part of his life that he had to like learn. So I feel like they're going to turn it into, how can we make the Mandalorian likable to everybody?
Yeah.
And so what worries me about it is they're just going to make it all like all big flashiness and no real substance, which has honestly been a big problem for Star Wars at certain points.
Yeah, I've kind of had similar concerns, and to be honest, I know it's like a lot different now, and like that's fine. And I don't hate all of the stories that they've been putting out, but in general, I kind of want Star Wars to return back to kind of like its roots.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we could get like a little bit closer to like a similar vibe as like the prequels and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, there's just like, yeah, like there's some stuff where it's like still like intense and all that, but like, I don't know. I feel like we've just gone so far from where it was with, you know, the original trilogy and then the prequels and all that. Like, obviously, you know, it's owned by Disney and all that now, which is whatever. Like, they're capable of making good stuff. They've made good stuff with it since then. I don't know. I just feel like we've strayed very far from where it was, and it's kind of losing its touch overall.
Yeah. And I gotta be, like, honest, too. In the trailer that they showed, there's nothing at all that really excites me about it. Like, when I'm watching it. It's like, I like the Mandalorian a lot, like, as a character. I think he's one of the more interesting and cool characters they've introduced since like the Disney acquisition, but I don't want to see him just become like it's the Mandalorian, you know. I don't know. I'm just worried about it.
Yeah.
And I think honestly they're doing such a poor job of hyping it up at all. It feels like they gave up before they even released a trailer for it. So I don't know what to think about that. And if they release it and it's bad, it's just going to keep having Star Wars dig its own grave for whatever reason, where they're having so much trouble just giving you semi-quality content on some accounts, which is sad to say. And yeah, like, you know, stuff like the prequels and stuff, it feels like that's so impossible to get close to that now, which is just strange, you know?
I feel not going too far into it because, limited time and all that, but without going crazy, I feel like part of it is just the fact that it's not, they don't let Star Wars get nearly as dark and gritty anymore as it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially towards, like, I don't know, like, everything, like, the entire Skywalker storyline, like, everything to do with, like, Anakin and all that.
It was like a tragedy.
Yeah.
It like was very honest about being a tragedy, and then it seems like Disney wants everything to be like, oh, I'm a stand-up guy, and like, let's go team and like figure this out. But like that was very much like, here's a story about a father-son struggle in a galactic war where so many people have died from this tragic love story, Bless you. And like these crazy manipulative evil villains and stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's just everybody has to be redeemable. The bad guy always has to be an old man.
Yeah.
It's just like get us back to not being afraid to tell you a story that doesn't always have a happy ending,
Yeah, and like even when they bring back like some like the older characters like Ahsoka and all that, like the Ahsoka show was pretty decent, but like it's still just, the redeemable characters and all that. And like, Anakin's in that, Hayden Christensen's in that as Anakin too, as like, the Force Ghost and all that. And just
it's great to see in its new direction for Star Wars stuff. But I think a lot of Star Wars fans at this point would agree there doesn't feel like there's any stake to anything at all, because it's all either circling the same story or it's playing it a million times too safe, and we're avoiding these obvious like major stories people want to see, like the Old Republic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but that's for another time to go deeper in there. Do you have any other 2026 series that you want to talk about?
No, like that about wraps it up.
Yeah. There obviously are going to be a lot more 2026 movies than that. We've talked about some that'll come out at some point, but these are probably like the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that about does it. So this has been the Mild Opinion Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.